the sirot. Give a proper bread. Be anxious, not anxious. Be careful. Be worried about your guest. At least about yourself. If you are alone, but use it. If I put my hand, I say Hamutzi, and what is my hand? Bad thoughts, bad feelings from any kind of situation. I'm done. And he said, same situation if physically you touch places which are dirty. All the purpose is from touching physically, feeling, or thinking, preserve your hands. And he said, not only that, you have also to preserve your hand all the time you are eating. All the time you are eating, you have to think that my hands are now used to bring sorry. So every time you're eating, you have to keep your hands clean. It is clean, physical, thinking, and thought. Don't make anything which will bring you to be in a bad position. What does it mean? Sorry, it's my wife.
We stopped at bet 260. Yeah, we're going to start here soon.
So what does it mean? It means that when you're eating, you have to be careful on your behavior. Because every time you're going to start to speak, every time you're going to start to laugh, going to start to exchange, what's happened, you will lose your concentration. You will not be focused. And you may make mistakes. With mistakes, making jokes, inappropriate jokes. All the situation bring bad feeling. All the situation can bring you feeling or your foot down, have an impact on your hands. Also, touching your head, scratching your beard, all these things, you have to be careful.
Normally, the apartment up, every Sabbath, they draw something. I'm so, because I can't shout,
Yeah.
but I'm so the concentration.
Yeah. I understand what you mean. Where is the question? Or is the situation? Everything depends on you. If you say, I want to be at the level of what I'm studying. What do you study? You study big stuff.
Yeah.
When you are at that level, you're obliged to take things on you. It means that you have to achieve a level where there is noise will not disturb you. This is the quality of the high people. It's like we shake. If sometimes we're studying here, they're making their renovation, is doing his motor, can make noise. If it's bothering me, it's disturbing me, I will power. Just stay calm. If you make this noise, it means that this is their life. Everything is okay. Let them do that noise. Take distance. So that does happen. The question said that Rabbi Chaim Vital say, ask yourself, why is it bothering me? Why is it disturbing me so much? Even as sometimes we don't like noise, sometimes we don't like people, but you have a difference between I don't like and it's disturbing me. You can say I don't like, but I'm down.
My problem is I want, he don't bother me, but then what I put in my thoughts, the sound don't disturb me, but what I put in here is disturbing me. So I go, if I forget the noise, I put, to forget it, I put something else.
I have one question.
Um,
What did this man did to you?
I don't know. I never seen him.
You sure?
No, upstairs.
Go and see him. Not to say that you're disturbed. Say hello, how are you? Go and look at him. Maybe you can see a situation there which will help you to understand why he's making this movement. Sometimes something is disturbing and you don't understand why you don't succeed to go over the noise.
Yeah.
Go and check what's happened. When you see the people say, you're never from the outside, I just want to say shalom. There is some good olive oil. You will see that you will maybe find a place in your heart to also not be bothered by the noise. For example, you was talking before 10 seconds, right? Did you hear that noise outside?
No.
I heard it. You see, it's depends on you. You can really not hear something if you are like focus on something else. And what can help you is how to be connected to people. It's gonna help you to have distance. Or maybe if it's bother you so much, something happened between both of you before, and this keep you at the place of this man, I don't like it. Also on that, you have to work. It's not the case here. So go, knock at the door, say, I'm Benjamin, I'm your neighbor from the lower apartment. There's some olive oil, and someone. Okay. When you say that, you will see the face. You will know the name. You will say, okay, it's the guy. Suddenly, you're gonna see it's gonna go down.
He'd be ashamed to make a noise. Now he have a face to when he has my face looking at him.
You get it.
Thank
You're welcome, Rabbi Benjamin. And he said, to keep your hands clean all the time you're eating. And he said, your intention should be focused on what you're doing. What are you doing? Eating. You're not making something else. It's hard, Benishai. It's not so easy. It's not. So what does say now after? Based on that, what does say Shlomo in Kohelet? He say, go and eat your bread with joy and drink your wine with a good heart. And he said, what is good heart? Besimcha, with joy, sorry. He said, Besimcha is the same letter that Besimcha, Machshava. This is where we stopped last week. So what is Besimcha? Eat your bread. Besimcha, with joy. So don't translate. Take the same letter of Besimcha, turn them, you have Be Machshava, with intention. So he said, based on that, it means that because of thanks to the good thought and the good heart and the good intention, God will receive your brachot and will give you to eat in peace. And after say, because when you make something, make one action, but that action is not connected to your thought, your action is not received. It's hard. It's hard.
So I can pray again or do it again,
Yeah.
the action again.
But when you do it, try to prepare your intention before to do the actions. It means that you are, it's hard. It's a Basically, how do you prepare your intention and your feelings? By understanding what you are doing. So you have to study. You know, what is this halakha? What is this asking for me, from me? This will help you to be focused on, for example, I put my tefillin, I say, okay, here is, I put the first one, I turn here, I have 7, here, I'm focused. 7, I turn here, I made the mochin here, okay, done. But if you're just talking, you did the action, but your thoughts are not focused on it. It's not good. It's not received. What is received? Oh, say, interaction in Hebrew. That's up. It means that God wants it. If God don't want you to do, it's because you're missing intention and feelings and thoughts, thought and intention in your action. They say also in the same verse, the name of God here is Elohim. Say why? Because like I said to you before, when you take brain, it's more. So when you take brain, it's more. This is brain, more. When you take this letter, more, it's mem, it's 4. Vav, it's 6. Red is 8. So I have 54. And if you get brain, art, it's left. So what is left? 32. If I make this plus that, it's 86, which is Elohim. So what they want to say here, the only way you have to connect with Elohim is the aspect of Gvurot of God. We know 2 names, Yud Ke Vav Ke and Elohim, let's say, and Adonai also, but let's say Elohim. Elohim is the aspect of Gvurot. It's feminine. How can you connect yourself to this dimension of Elohim? Only by fixing and making Kiddush and pure these 2 places. That's why someone, even a guy who have this and this clean and pure, he can achieve a lot of spirituality. Even a Jewish who is not learning, studying, or teaching Kabbalah, just being pure in and here, he can achieve a lot of things because Elohim will give him the way. So to have a good heart, to have a good brain, bring you to be connected to Elohim. This is the secret of Moshe, which is called Ish Elohim. What is Ish Elohim? The man Elohim. What is the man Elohim? Basically the man who is pure and kadosh from the brain and from the heart.
I'm trying to, this is a stretch. Moach, we're saying, is connected to Chachma, and Lev is connected to Bina. But there's always, Chachma is always inside of Bina, correct? Av is inside of, they're always in Yichud, so Av is inside of Bina. Yeah. And when we learned about fixing, Pirkei Avot, about fixing the 100 levels of Bina, this is where it's a stretch. I'm trying to get from 86 to 100. So the difference is 14. And the only way I can get there is the milui of al. No, not the milui of al. When you milui of echad is 13, plus the Kola or plus the Aleph gets to 14, which is 100.
Mhm.
The reason I use a Chad is when it starts with an Aleph, which is Yud Vav Yud, which is Havaya.
Mm.
And I mean, that's really the only way we sweeten things, right, is using Havaya. And a Chad is, one and 100. I'm not sure. I'm trying to get there. I think I feel like just something close, but.
It's a good direction, definitely. Why? Because the aspect of Echad is only connected to the Jewish. When Yeshua explained it in the one introduction, he said, the Goyim, they are coming from a place calling multiple, many. But we, by coming from Abraham, Isaac, Yaakov, and Rachel, Leah, Bilhah, Zilpah, we come from a place called Echad. And we also get it from the letters of the Rashi Tevot of the name of the Avot. We have Echad, Echad, Echad. What is Echad? It means one. What does it mean one? A place where you don't have any separation, any division. Where is that place? Chokhmah. In the brain. So basically what you're saying is to connect this and this, if I can use one thing, is to have a kind of echad. But echad of what? Of this and this. But what's happened? This is your art. They say that your art is Ima, mother. Your brain is Abba. Even if they are I, we know that this is brain. Why? Ima is mochin. Mochin the bina. It's mochin. So if Ima is mochin, Abba is mochin, so let's say you can say they are the Lamed and the Mem of Tselem, right? So now what's happened? If you know that point, that the place where you can bring down the level, the physical level of mochin is brain for sure, and art. And the art part is connected to the bina, to the lamed, and the brain to the mem, to the abba. Making them one is exactly what we do on Shabbat. Is when you are on Ima, you think already about the Abba. We're going to see it after. So basically, we will see again and again, everything's happened on Shabbat. Everything. It's on Shabbat. If you do the good action when you eat with your brain and your heart, you will see that this will bring your action of the week to be one. Not to be like Monday, you are good. Tuesday, no good. Friday, finish. You have to, let's see this. Let's go to the Lachot. It's also, yeah.
Ish Elokim.
Yeah.
Can you repeat one once more for me, please?
Ish Elokim
Yes.
is a man succeed to keep every time, every day, every second, without fighting, but bring it to his nature, brain and heart, pure and holy.
The rabbi said Elohim is a feminine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's also the Ra.
Yeah.
Can you repeat the last one?
Ish Elokim is the name that we give to Moshe, the surname that we give to Moshe. Moshe Ish Elokim. What does it mean, Ish Elokim? It's like the divine man. This man is holy. is divine. Say no. Say, how do you build it properly? It's the only place where we can bring this adjective of being holy Elohim to a man. It's when the brain and the heart are clean and holy. What does it mean clean? You don't think bad and you don't feel bad, you don't have bad intention. But you do it like normal. It's not like you start to think bad of it. No, stop, not good, go down, slow down, slow down. No. If you are fighting, you're in the way. But you have not achieved yet the level of Elohim. This is what Rabbi Chaim Vital called in Shaar HaKavanot, Chassid Gamur. That's why David is saying in Tehillim, keep me ki Chassid ani, because I'm Chassid. What is Chassid? It's Elohim. After I continue, it's another point. When you have strange thought, say something is important. See what's happened? What's happened when you achieve a level where you are eating, but for a moment you forget that you are eating, and you have to keep your intention and your thought clean. He said this comes from you forget. You forget, so what's happened? You start to make noise just to make not logical things. So this comes from the responsibility of the brain. Because the brain brings you to forget. So God forbid. So what's happened? If you lose, let's say you lose your mind, you are not focused on your table, and basically you start to stay to do shtuyot. See what's happened at this moment? It's like you bring some impurity on the holy food. You say that your table is like the mizbeah, the place where we are bringing the korbanot to put them on the fire. So the mizbeah is the place where you connect yourself and the spirituality to make it clean. So imagine now you have the Kohen Gadol. You bring your animal. So, Rabbi Binyamin, you bring this bird for to say Todah to God. Okay, take the bird, you make the shchita, put the bird on the mizbeah, and you waiting for the bracha, say amen and so on. All the Kohen is doing is talk to somebody else, and you say that, okay. You say, oh, this is my korban. Just please be focused, because after you're gonna eat it and so on. So say this is the same situation. When you don't keep your mind and your feeling focused when you are eating, it's like bringing impurity on the mizbeah. And he said this comes from the brain, which brings you to forget. How do you don't forget? We have a key. We call that Chok Israel. We're going to see Bezrat Hashem on this time. When you do the Chok Israel, you bring to yourself power not to forget. Bezrat Hashem.
Okay. Sabbath, the neighbor bringing the food was so good that I concentrated in the food. When I finished, I was almost 100% in the food. So what's
good.
What are we doing?
Because you think maybe that all the hours you're listening and you're exchanging with people here, so nothing happened. Many things are happening. Your spirituality is getting something. You don't pay attention because it's like regular. You make maybe, but you don't get it. But your spirituality is now built in this specific direction, and you will see it in some way to build your behavior different compared to what you was used to do. Because maybe when something was good before, you just came and even if I know it's not you, it's an example. And now you see study. You see the food is good, and you just take your time. This is the proof that something is coming down to the material, to the gashmiut. We don't keep the limud here on. The purpose of the limud is to bring in the actions. If you don't have actions, don't study Kabbalah. Because you're going to become crazy. The purpose of Kabbalah, of Sod, is to know exactly how to bring down in the action the highest level of spirituality and the highest meaning of spirituality. This is what you are doing. If at the moment when you eat, when you wash your hands, when you are with your wife, when you go to buy something outside, you are bringing Kavanot, it's done. You are the highest. Because what regular people do, they do that only when they are in the space of Torah. When they study, it's hard to focus. But if you succeed, even when you go to buy your stuff in the Makolet, to be like focused, yes, you get it. You bring down something high. And walking in the streets, you keep you try to bring your Torah to life by being like walking like this, looking at this like that, saying hello like this, so on, so on. This is the proof that you bring this down.
Good question. So you mentioned that Chokli Israel is a proactive way to prevent makshova.
Forgetfulness.
Yeah, ra'ot or.
No. To prevent that you will not forget.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, my question was then, really, if we have a thought, a distracting thought that pops in our head, like let's say during eating, what is a solution, like in the moment, that you recommend? Ephraim said he heard from, I think his friend Isfad, that you can think of the milui the ribua 5 times ma, something like that. I think it's ribui 5 times ma. Was there something, or some people I know just like recite Mishnayot in their head? Like, is there, I know it's maybe different depending on someone's soul, but is there like a couple techniques or a technique?
In the Maseret I receive, we do Yichud Alafim. Because the 5 times ma, it's in the morning when you wake up, and before you start to study, you make the Yichud Ta'arat HaMachshava. Do it for the whole day. So we don't use it the same way. But if you see now, and you are eating, what is eating? It's the kind of Yichud. What is studying is kind of Yichud. What do we saw when we study Rosh Hashanah? So when you are studying, suddenly you have bad thoughts coming to you. But if you think about nude woman, you want to go make Yichud. So what do? You take on you, make the Yichud Alafim. You think Ab make it sweeter, Kana become Kasa, making sweeter Ava Adanut Elokim, we become Kana to Kasa, make sweeter Elokim the Alfin, become Elokim the Alfin to become Elokim the Din, make sweeter Pach, what is Pach? Par Aduma, and Din. It's done. Just being focused like that, you say, okay, you will see that straight gonna go.
It appears to me that the concept of food is a generic referring to anything that you are connecting to. You're making a food with that specific thing.
Yes, it's generic only when it's connecting masculine and feminine.
Okay.
It's not about connecting masculine, feminine.
Oh, okay.
Because if it's like that, we don't call that yichud. We call that influence, ashpa'ah.
Huh?
We call that influence,
Oh, influence.
ashpa'ah.
Okay.
So, for example, Ima can connect to the daughter, to the hay, and the hay can be connected. But she sends some kind of influence. It's not called yichud. Abba can have an influence on the vav. So we don't say we have yichud between Abba and vav has a shalom. We say we have influence, ashpa'ah. But yeah. אביר נתת כאן לידו הלכה שנית. Oh, wow, it's long.
We can split it.
You want me? Let me do it. We're gonna do the third one. Let me do it.
I only sent the first page.
So we didn't even want to translate. It's not a shame.
He's gonna read.
Oh,
I'm gonna read.
Then I'll give you my book when we do demo.
Okay.
כשם שהשיח הדת מעכב באכילה ושתייה לעניין ברכה, כאין שינוי מקום מעכב בעניין ברכה. מאחר תרבו עדות בזה וענו קיימאה לן ספק ברכות להקל, אפילו נגד מרן ז"ל שקיבלנו הוראותיו, ולכן נזכיר פסק ההלכה מה העלו האחרונים לצאת ידי חובת הכלל של ספק ברכה להקל והוא שאם סעד במקום אחר וברך המוציא ואכל פת ובתוך הסעודתו שנאה ממקומו אפילו שעלה בבית אחר ואפילו לא הניח שום אדם בשולחן אם יסייר בדעתו ולאכול אז יברך על דברים שאינם מחמת הסעודה אם ירצה לאכול בין שאוכלים בבית השני בין שאוכלים במקום הראשון אחר שחזר עליו ואחרתה אבל דברים שהם באים מחמת הסעודה לא יברך עליהם בין בבית השני בין שחזר למקומו בבית הראשון ואף על פי שהסייר בדעתו מפני כל שהוא בתור הסעודה של חשיב גמר סעודה יען דאף צריך שיברר עליו ברכת המזון במקומו לפיכך שהוא עומד במקומו ילך במקום אחר אין מידתו גמר סעודתו אף על פי שהסיירתו מלאכול שאר צריכו לעזוב במקומו לברר ברכת המזון ולברך שחוזר ואוכל דברים שאין באים מחמת הסעודה על הדעת סעודתו הראשונה הוא עושה כדי לסיים סעודתו ולאחר אין לברך עליהם בתחילה וכל שכן שחוזר לאכול במקומו הראשון שהוא מקום סעודתו ואין לברך תחילה וכל זה מראה בעבד שנאה במקומו אבל תחילה צריך להיזהר שלא יעקור מסעודתו ולגמור אותו במקום אחר עד שיברך ברכת המזון אפילו אם הניח מקצת חברים על השולחן יען בכל דבר הטעון לאחר ואחר ממקומו מפני חשיבותו צריך לברך אחריו קודם שיעקר במקומו שמעולת חשיבותו שלא יברך במקום אחר כן מועלת חשיבותו לברך שהוא לברך קודם שיעקר ואף על פי שהוא אוכל גם כן במקום השני הוא מברך שם ונמצא גם כן מברך ברכת המזון במקום האכילה עם כל זה מה עולה ובכל האכילה הראשונה שהייתה תאונה ברכה במקומו בכלל לקטנה קודמת שיעקוד משם משום חשיבות אלא שאם כבר קרא אין צריך לעזור לברך תחילה על מה שאוכל במקום השני ובזה לא יתקן את אשר יבעט בעקירתו אלא משום שצריך לברך במקומו אכילה אוכלה, הוא מעט במקום השני, כדי לברך אחר כך, יקת המזון ועל כן כי התפילה, לא יעקור ולא ברכה, ואפילו דעים מניח, מקצת חבריהם אין זו הקרון, העקירה, אם היה הציד לחזור עליהם מכל מקום, שהולך לגמור סעודתו בבית אחר, הרי הוא קרע בחבורתו, וזה אינו העלאה בהכרעה שלו היה, ודתו בתפילת שברך, המוציא לגמור במקום אחר, ואז אהבה, כי ביות סעודתו מתפילת במקום הזה, ולאחר צריך לברך ברכת המזון במקום הזה ולא במקום אחר, אבל אם נתחילה מתפילה שברך המוציא, היה בדתו לגמור בבית אחר, מותר לברך במקום אחר, שהרי מתחילה לא קבע במקום הזה, כל סעודתו כמו שנוהגים מהולכי דרכים והולכים דרך. הילוכים ויושבים ומברכים במקום סיום אכילתם, והיינו מפני שהלכה נתקבלו בתפילה שלו או לקבוע מקום לאכילתם במקום שברכו בו המוציא לתחילה שם לאכול במה דברים אומרים שהולכים מקוראו הראשון גומר סעודתו במקום השני, אבל אם עולה במקום השני הדעת לעזוב במקומו הראשון לגמור סעודתו, אין זו העקירה, אפילו הוא לא הניח מקצת חברים, ומכל מקום אסור חכמים לעשות כן, משום דחיישינן שמעה ישכח לי לחזור למקומו לברך, ולא התירו לעשות כן אלא ואחד שהולך לבית אחר ולא ואוכל שם, ולאחר שאוכל שם אז ודאי לא ישכח ברכה ולא שכיח, קיים לעילר דרכו ולא ברכה כלל, והוא לך אמירן ודאי ויקום אחר אכילה בבית השני, יעזור למקומו הראשון כדי לבחר מכל המקום הטוב, שגם באחראי גבנאם תיזהר לכתחילה לעניין אחר על השולחן, במקום הראשון כאשר עולה משם במקום השני, ואפילו אם לא נזדמן לו אדם ויאכל עמו, שם יניע אדם אחר אף על פי שלא אוכל עמו שם, וכל זה שהוא הולך לדבר לדבר רשות, או אפילו לדבר מצווה, אך היא מצווה שאינה עוברת, אבל לצורך מצווה עוברת כגון מצוות לוויה וכיוצא, או לבית הכנסת להתפלל עם הציבור אף על גב דאמרינן היא במקום שהולך בו, אינו אוכל דאסור חז"ל לעשות כן, שמה ישכח מלברר לגמרי עם כל זה, כיוון שהוא צורך על מצוות העוברת, מותר לו לכתחילה ללכת במקום אחר, לעשות מצווה ולברר את ברכת המזון כשיחזור למקומו, ואפילו עניין מקצת חברים על השולחן מפני שאין עניין מצווה עוברת משום חשש שמא ישכח ויען לשולחן אהוב לאגרון רבנו זלמן. חב"ד, רבנו זלמן, שער האחרונים. Bring the Chabad. So what did we say? We said like this. I want to translate. At the same level, when you are not focused, when you are getting your meal, when you are in this situation, you just nullify the blessing you said before. Not being focused when you're eating or when you make your action, just make null, zero, the action you are doing and just erase the bracha you said before. He said, the same situation, to move from a place to another place, don't give you the possibility to take profit of the bracha you have said. For example, I'm here, I say, I drink my coffee, I stop, I move. My place where I can take profit of the bracha is here. I have to come back here and to drink. But it's not so easy. That's why it took time to explain all the situation. So I'm gonna go for the situation, just translating. If you have question, stop me. He said like this. We have a lot of option, opinion, different thought in this situation. What's happened? I was here, I started to drink here, I moved. Where do I make Shaar HaKavanot? Should I come back here to say Shaar HaKavanot, or can do it in the street? So you have a lot of opinion, a lot of. And the first general rule that we have is don't say any bracha if you have a safek, if you have a doubt. Say, I don't know. Did I say that? Or did I miss that? You don't know? Don't do. Don't say, look, I don't remember, but I will do again. I'll do it again, likely I'm sure. No, make opposite. Every time you have a doubt, we consider that you don't have to do it again. And as I said, it's like, say, Ma'aran Shulchan Aruch. Say, so we are keeping his way. We will say here in this halacha only the opinion which are fixed by the Acharonim, which are the last generation of the poskim, in order to know when is the doubt and how and when can I go back and make the bracha or not. Instant. If you have it in a place where you have done a motzi and you have eaten some bread, and that at the middle of the meal, you're obliged to move. Even in another house, say you're here, you're at your place, you make a motzi, you don't finish to make birkat hamazon, your neighbor is calling you, come, get some fruit with us. So you move from your apartment to his apartment. And even if you leave one person in the first place you were, you say, okay, I'm with my wife. Okay, my wife is still here. I will go just to eat something there. So what's happened? He said, if you go to another place and you don't prepare that you're going to eat that place, you have to say again the brachot on the food. You cannot count on the brachot of the food you have ate at your place to say it will cover the meal and the food I'm going to eat in the second place. You say in the both situation, or because to be able to eat something in the second house, or because you come back to your house, you have to do it again the brachot. Say to eat meals which are a part of to eat specific food which are part of the meal. You don't have to make the bracha. For example, you did a motzi, you want to eat your potatoes and your chicken. You don't have to say Adama potatoes. You don't have to say I'm shakol on the chicken. The bread is covering everything, so you just have to eat, not a bracha. They said the situation is the same, even in the first place in your home, or even if you go to another place, you just make a mutzi. You say, maybe you don't know that you're going to have that kind of stuff, but maybe I have to make shakol on the, no, you say a mutzi, it's not for all the meal.
Even if you said hamosi at your house and then you went to your neighbors and you ate grapes, you say a new bracha on the grapes?
If you
don't say new bracha?
You have the grapes, yes. But if you make a motzi, in the
Right.
second place.
Oh,
You have to make another bracha.
you mean a second hummus?
Yeah. Because it said like this: if you make a motzi, you have to know exactly what's going to come from the meal. That's why we let the balabai, the chief of the house, to make a motzi, because you know exactly what's going to come after. What kind of food does he's connected to his wife? No. So you may have said, okay, because I don't know what's gonna be the meal, maybe I have to make bracha on every different dishes I'm gonna receive. You know, if you want a motzi in the place of your neighbor, it's enough for all the meal also.
So, practical question is: let's say we make a motzi, and then at the end of the meal, we decide, you know what, I want some dessert. I'm going to have some grapes, but I didn't have the kavanah in the beginning when I made a motzi. That at the end of the meal, I want some grapes. So, would it be better then at that point to do birkat hamazon and then to open up a new bracha with eights?
New bracha.
Close out new bracha with not within birkat.
Yeah,
I mean,
because you still want to eat, right? It's in the middle of your meal.
Yeah.
So you make a eight because you don't eat grapes with the bread. You make a eight. After you continue.
And at the end, we do birkat hamazon. We don't need to do mayim shalosh.
If you want to make the Amazon before eating grapes, you apply to make all the seder, Maimon Chaonim and so on.
Ma'ayim shalosh.
Then Shalosh, no, it will be
So,
Birkat Hamazon.
even though you made the bracha with it, so,
Birkat Hamazon, because you will be satisfied. So
and even though we didn't have the kavanot, okay, sorry, I give a bad example. Let's say that halfway through the meal, someone wants some charif, let's say, and I didn't have the kavanot. That's a condiment, so I don't know. Let's just say there's like another type of food, gezer, charif, something that we didn't initially have the kavanot that's going to be included in the meal.
yeah,
That wouldn't be ha'etz.
that's only because it's a part of your meal. He said, so you don't need to have brachot once you have done a motzi. Everything comes on the table, it's okay.
Right.
Except things that you don't eat with bread.
Right. So even though we didn't have the kavanot, that we knew the whole menu beforehand, it's okay to start adding things in.
Yeah.
We just add the kavanot at that point, like, okay, now I'm
It's
going
a meal. It's a part of my meal. I eat it, and I will make the Hamazon to elevate it. It's happened. It's like sometimes you come, you are eating, and you have to have a surprise for you. I buy you your let's say your the pastry you like or something. She didn't tell you. So what's happened? Well, Ashkenazim is what they do. They took the bread, they put even on the dessert, just to say I eat it with bread. I'm not obliged to make a mezonot. So they take a part of bread, they take the cake, like this, they eat the bread, it's like this. And there are some people say, no, I prefer to make Amazon and to make mezonot on the dessert. So it's usual. You can have surprise when you have a guest. They bring something you don't prepare. So when you receive them or when you eat, you say, this is for the meal for Shabbat. It's connected. That's why you say, once you say Amot, you don't need to make any kind of brachot that you have, except things you're going to eat without bread.
Ashkenazim dip the bread 3 times in mezonot and then
No, not 3 times.
They just
But if you don't want to make the Amazon before to eat the dessert, what they do, they took a pot of bread, they put it on the dessert, and they eat the bread.
Without bracha?
You are already in the meal.
Right.
So you did a motzi, so your bread is already in. So the question is, what do you eat with bread or not? So what they do, for purpose, they take the bread, they mix it with the cake to say, I eat the cake with the bread.
Sephardim don't do that.
I saw some, but...
they close it.
Yeah.
Sephardim will just, Ashkenazim will mostly close it out and then open up a new bracha mezonot after. But this is
I think that it's... most of the people, they're closing the Amazon after we make amotzi, or also with the fruits. Some people could take some bread, put on the fruit, say, okay, I eat it with bread.
Most Sephardim just say the bracha and then they do birkat hamazon and everything's closed.
Yeah.
2015, when I met the Rabbanut for the first time, Rabbi, I met in the old city. I was connected to him and requested him to accompany me because I was told to be accompanied by either somebody I know, a family that I know in Israel, or a rabbi study. He took me, and before he took me, he said, "I was getting about the very same halakha, that when you had eaten here, and then you forgot that you, or you did not forget, you just went quickly. And all of a sudden, you realize, when I did not recite the brachas. Then what if you get a Rabbanut to ask you the same question? I happen to know the halakha, but well, part of the halakha, but I needed to come there. They said, okay, but there's also a halakha that says, if you can see the place. So I'm now, this is now my question around. What? Yeah, but there is this opinion that if I forget to recite the bracha, then if that place is within the view of my eyes, is that not sufficient also?
Yeah. Like you said, you have a lot of opinion. And this one is a part of. It's been like some time, let's say you're here and you have to run because you're late. You just go, your ears, forget to say Boreni Fashat. You just, from the place, look at the table, the word of Boreni Fashat, it works. Why and how do we do? What do we do? We're going to see it. And he said, the fact to stand up or in the purpose to go to another place don't mean that you finish your meal. See? Not because you stand and you go out from your house, that it means that your meal is finished, you finish to eat. Even if you don't think that you will eat after, what made the end of the meal is Birkat Hamazon, not you standing and leaving the place where you were first. And he said, even if in your option you say, I'm near now at home, I need Mamutzi, I go to Rabbi Elnatan's place, but I will not come back and eat in my place. So even if you think like that, you standing and going out doesn't mean that you finished your meal. He said, what close your meal is the Birkat Hamazon. So when you come back in your first place, you have to say Birkat Hamazon also. So let's say you're here, I make Birkat, I go back home, and I make Amotzi here. I go back home and make Amotzi with my wife. What happened? Do I make one Birkat for all the plate of eggs? No. They make Birkat from the place there, closing your meal at home, and here you also make Birkat. And he said, but if I'm here, I make a motzi lechem, I go there, I make a motzi, but I know when I will come here, I'll continue to eat. They say, what's happened? So in that situation, we don't have any doubts. We don't make the bracha. We don't have to restart Amotzi in that place because I was here, I say Amotzi, I went there, I say Amotzi, but I will come here, I will continue my meal. So you don't make any bracha, you just continue to eat.
But there, the second place you went to, you do also Birkat Hamazon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't make the new bracha. Especially in the case where you know that you will come back in the first place here to finish your meal. This is only application when you move from a place to a place. They say the best is not to leave the place where you are eating. Start with the place, finish, to move. If you know that you will not have the time, eat in the second place where you're going to go. Just make it. So based on that, also, for example, like everybody, when it comes about mezonot and bread, we don't eat standing and we don't eat walking. Stay to sit.
Bye-bye. We have got most of if not all, most of African tribes and communities.
Yeah.
Even if it is not a bread, because we don't have bread that is called bread.
Yeah.
Any food, the elders will beat you up. Eating while walking, will beat you up.
Yeah. Yeah, I say.
Explanation, what it means is for them.
And you understand all the purpose here. We said in the first halacha, don't lose your mind. Don't lose your focus with your intention and with your machshavot, when you're eating. So when you eat by walking, 1 second you lose. You're gonna eat, people are gonna look at you, you're gonna feel people looking, you look at you, and you will have to see where you're going. You're like, well, I'm going, how is that? You are not in your food, your meal.
And that's how we know that the klipa does control time. Because let's say in America, everyone is in a hurry in the morning to get to work. So what do? They go get, depending where you live, a bagel if you're in New York, or if you're in Texas, you get a breakfast taco, with eggs and whatnot. And a coffee on the other hand, and you're walking, you're eating, And that's when you know the klipa has got control of the time, because they want to try to do 5 things at once. They don't want to just sit, eat, wake up another 30 minutes early to be able to make food at home and eat. They just want to get up and go.
Right. That's why if you want to know where is a good place to live, just come one day, sit 2 hours, and see the behaviors of people. What they are doing, if they are used to work and when they eat, how they are looking at each other. You can know a lot about the middle of the place just by sitting in on. Take a bench, you sit, and you just check. And after you say, okay, not like this one. See? And he said, you have always finished your meal when you start to eat, and it's better to start or to finish where you start. And what is finishing? For sure, Birkat Hamazon. Even if you will let other people staying in that place. Let's say you say, I have to go back home, and basically, I'm here. I'm the Bet Midrash. I make a motzi. I will leave you 3 of you here. So he say, even if they will continue to eat, you make your Birkat Hamazon. Say, because every time you have to say final bracha, this should be done at the place where you have ate, because that place becomes important. You eating is you bringing down specific things. It's a big life. You saw it in the Kavanot. So that's why this place deserves, that place deserves that you make the final bracha on that place. And he said, you have to do it before to move from that place. Because when you don't say a bracha in that place, Or if you leave that place before saying the final bracha, all the power of the blessing you said before, the first bracha, lose them. I said Shaar HaKavanot here, I drink my tea, and if I say, okay, I just move, he said, all the power of Shaar HaKavanot was waiting for the final bracha, which is Borei Nefashot. It's like you creating light and keli. So you say first bracha, the light is here, you bring in the food, you eat it, tak, and now you don't sing final bracha, you lose everything. Oh, sorry, you lose everything. And he said, also to eat in another place, and to say the Amazon. Let's say I'm here. Say I did Shaar HaKavanot. I forget to do Borei Nefashot. Now I go back home. I eat bread there, and I'm think maybe my Birkat Amazon will cover even the cost, the glass of water I drink here. You know, final should be done on the place where you make the action. What you have to do is to come back in this place and to eat a little bit, because I did Birkat Amazon in at home, at my place. So when I come back here, I forget to say Borei Nefashot on my glass. Take some new glass of water, drink it, and have to say final bracha. He said, but what you have to keep in mind, you will not move from your place before saying Birkat Amazon. And even if you let people on the table, it's not considered that you are leaving the place. Even if you leave the place and people are still on the table, this is not called like you are making something inappropriate. You are just saying, I'm finishing here to go to another place. And he said, this is also the case when you make a motzi. What does it mean? This is the case when you make a motzi and you don't have the intention to finish your meal in another place. And you don't choose. So it means that you choose that first place. That means that you are obliged to say Birkat Amazon in the first place. But when you do your amotzi, and you have in your intention the purpose to finish your meal in another place, so you can say Birkat Amazon in the second place. I'm here. I'm making a motzi. And from the beginning, I know that I will finish my meal at home, not here. So I can make a motzi here and Birkat Amazon at home. You have to have it in the intention, not to be under the situation. You have to handle the situation. Why? Why is it possible? Because you don't choose the place. You say, I will start here, finish there. I don't make any choice. So the two places become one. So I will start here, finish there, from in my intention. Like, who do that? The people who are travelers. They eat by walking and sit to make Birkat Amazon. So I say, it's not forbidden, it's not the best. It's not forbidden to eat by walking. Now let's say you have your sandwich. You start here, good sandwich. You start to eat here, you finish it at Mamila. So at Mamila, you find a bench, you sit, and you make your Birkat Amazon. So that based on that, we also are authorized to start a meal here with the intention to finish it in the second place from the beginning. at the moment where I say Hamoti, I already see myself finishing my meal with friends in another place. And he said, why is it possible? Because from the beginning, you knew that you're going to move. Your intention was prepared for the situation. They never fixed a specific place for the meal where they start to eat. And he said, this situation, when we leave a place to go to finish a meal in another place. But if we move in another place with the intention to come back to finish in the first place, same situation, but now I know I will come back to finish. I'm here, I make a mutzi. From the beginning, I knew that I'm going to eat at home, but I knew also that I will come back here to eat, to finish my meal. So I said, this is not considered like leaving a place. It means that that place will always be one. What does it mean? I make a mutzi. When I say how much I know, I'm going to go eat with my wife. Okay, I go and eat. But when I say that in my mind, I know that also I have to go back to give the shiur, and so we'll finish to eat with the student. So when you do that, me going back home, it's not called leaving this place. It's just called changing momentary place. He said, but our sage, they're forbidden to do that. Say, okay, you can play, but the best is just don't do. Make a simple.
Maman est venue avec Didi parce que Didi a mal au ventre et il ne veut pas.
Il veut pas quoi?
Et il a mal au ventre.
Il veut pas quoi?
Et
Ah. Hein? Quoi? Ça va ou pas? Didi, viens voir. Viens voir. Qu'est-ce qu'il a?
Il a dit qu'il a mal au ventre.
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? Viens ici. C'est mal au ventre?
non, il a dit qu'il veut aller au Kiddush.
Il veut prendre le bus, mais on ne peut pas prendre le bus. On va aller au jardin et mamie, elle nous rejoint au jardin.
On va prendre le bus.
Il voulait que je lui remette les masques pour aller chez elle. Alors, elle préfère s'envoler dans le jardin. Alors, non, moi, ça m'évite le transport.
Voilà. Très bien.
Comme ça repart les repas et les heures.
Oui. Mamie va nous
C'est
C'est bon, tu dis au revoir à papa et tu te calmes. Et tu te calmes.
alors, moi, tu te calmes. Tu veux du pétel? Tu veux la boisson rouge?
Tu veux? Tu veux?
Il m'a dit,
Tu veux la boisson rouge?
moi c'est trop.
La boisson rouge.
Moi c'est rouge.
Que tu as bu? Tu veux? Tu prends dans le frigo. Elle est là, il est sur la table. La boisson rouge. Voilà, tu prends des verres. Voilà.
Ça se met comme ça?
Ouais, tu mets un petit fond.
Ah, c'est un sirop genre?
Ouais, c'est ça. Et tu mets de l'eau.
Plus que mal au ventre. Wow.
Comme ça?
Tiens, écoutez un peu.
Oui, je lui prépare. Oups.
Tu veux Israël?
Attends, je mets de l'eau.
Ah, reste avec le bébé.
Donne-moi son bain, je mets de l'eau là.
So he said, please don't do that. Don't play that game to I'm gonna start here, finish there, come back here, finish my meal. Because they are afraid that you will forget to say birkat. They're moving too much. After you forget. Because we see how important is birkat hamazon here. And he said they only give the authorization when you move in another place to eat also in that place. What is to eat? To say motzi and birkat. Like this, we will not forget. What's the most important for them is you and your birkat. And they say why? For sure, after having eaten, in general, when you just finish to eat, you never forget to have birkat Amazon. It's logical. It's like the movement. You are finishing, it's birkat. But when you are not finishing, you move here, you go there, you take a risk. And said, but when you have to return to a place, for sure, one day you're going to say, oh, wow, I forgot to make birkat. What's happened when you forget to make birkat? You're missing the pad. The pad is when the food is in your intestines, and you have now to transform it to become totally ruchani and to feed you and to make the separation with the food and what should go to the toilet. And this is the moment that you receive all the power of the food. So just after that, you have another kavanah, which is mu, nar, lechem, dak, pad, which makes sha'ah, which is sha'ah 317 light of Ariel coming inside of you. So you can miss that if you are moving too much between place to place.
So to also wear what my taught us that when you eat it properly. But if you don't recite proper brachot, the food, the souls that are trapped in this food, they become problematic.
Exactly. This is why the sage, they are afraid of you forgetting your birkat. It's better than that, because they know that the consequences will be heavy. You will be with souls which are, let's say, which are dangerous.
There's also another opinion of 72 minutes. Now, here I'm learning that the end of your meal, it's sealed with the bracha acharona.
Yeah.
But I came across also an opinion that as soon as you are actually finished, 72 minutes, you need to recite Birkat Hamazon or whatever, point of short.
No, it's like this. The 72 minutes, it's not the limit of you being obliged to say the Birkat Hamazon. 72 minutes is the moment where you can stop to be in activity of eating between your last swallow to the moment where you can say Birkat connected to this meal. What does it mean? I'm eating, let's say. I'm eating. And I get my last spoon of rice at this, right?
Yes.
So he said, let's say here, it's 72 minutes later. What does it mean? It says, right?
Yes.
If I have passed this moment, I cannot make birkat because my food have already been digested. So that's why always when you are talking or when maybe you are making a meal of Shabbat and give it shiur, you pay attention that every 10 minutes you eat something or drink something. Like this, you are extending the 72 minutes.
Okay.
He said, sometimes you are at home, you see people and you talk. And you forget, you know that you was almost finished, but now the food is cold, so you will not eat, but you are talking. So every 10 minutes, you have to drink your water. With the intention that you will make your cut when you will be alone. And they say, even that case, it's not good also to leave people alone on your table and you just leaving to another place. Also, it's a derech eretz. It's a good behavior. They said, so all the situation, it's for personal reason or for reason that you are moving from a place to a place in order to make a mitzvah. But when it's about a mitzvah, it's not for personal reason, but it's about a mitzvah, what we know that the perfect moment to do that mitzvah will be connected to you leaving your table and your meal in the middle of your meal. So I said, for example, as a shalom, you have to bury someone. Now it's written that at 12 all the family gonna come. So you start to eat, so you have to move for the first situation. Or something like that. Or if you have to go to the Beit Knesset for the minyan, to complete the minyan. No, you are in the meal Shabbat and you hear the rabbi say, minyan. Say, oh, okay, let's go. Like that, we can pray in minyan. And say, even if our sage are forbidden to go to another place in the middle of your meal, if it's not for eating, because you will forget the Birkat Hamazon, he said we can even this position of the sage, you can move for that mitzvah. You can move for completing a minyan, burying someone. You can move. And for the mitzvah, does it mean that you will see and you will say the Birkat Hamazon when you will come back? To go, you make the prayer, come back, or make it Birkat the table.
Even if it's more than 72 minutes?
I think you have to eat something every. It's hard to eat with dead people around. So basically, I think it's so if it's in a like burying someone, just make your cuts and go and don't wait for this. Wait, we did the halakha free too. Abel Natan, can we do halakha gimel?
מיני מזונות שברכתן האחרונה היא מהם 3, וכן פירות אשר שביעת המינים, וכן היין ברכתן גם כן מאלה 3, דינם כפת לעניין עקירת מקום, ואסור לעקור ממקומו עד שיברך ברכה אחרונה, משום ויש אומרים כמו שהפת צריך ברכה במקומו, כן אלו צריכים ברכה אחרונה במקומן. לפיכך לעניין שינוי מקום, אז רנן לכולם בספק ברכות, ואמרנן דינם כמו שאמרנו לעיל גבי פת, והוא דאים עמד ממקומו הראשון והלך לחצר האחרת. אין עמידתו מחשבת גמר סעודתו, אף על פי שהיא שיח דתו מלאכול, מפני שצריך לחזור למקומו, לברך ברכה אחרונה, ולכך ישחזר.
לא,
Moi. No,
לא, כלום.
ואוכל ושותה אפילו במקום אחר, על דעת סעודתו הראשונה, והוא אוסר לסיים סעודתו, וכל שכן אם חוזר למקומו הראשון ואוכל שאין צריך לברך ברכה ראשונה, ואפילו לא הניח מקצת חברים.
So when it comes about the cakes, with the cakes we say mezonot. When it comes about the cakes, when you the final bracha is ma'ain shalosh. Ala mechia, ben kakala, ben akifen, ben ha'ez, ben ha'ez. So he said, this is the final blessing that we do on this kind of food, which are connected to the 7 kind of fruits of Israel, and also on the wine. And they say the rules are the same as the bread. What does it mean? He said, if we move from a place where we have eat, say I'm in a Bet Midrash here, I ate some bread cake, okay, it's mezonot. He said it's forbidden. It's forbidden to leave that place without saying bracha ha'arona on the mezonot. Instead, some people are more in the same opinion that, like for the bread, we are obliged to say the blessing, the final blessing on the place where we have eaten the mezonot. He said, that's why when this comes about moving, we also take the less strict opinion. We don't take the out of. Why? The most strict opinion. No, the less strict. Don't take the outer one. I say why? Because we don't make bracha when we have a doubt or safek, and we also add, like we said before regarding the bread, if we have left a place where we start to eat and that we move to another place, it's not considered that the meal is over, even if we don't have to start in the second place yet. Said, coming from the point that you will go back to your first place, it's not a problem because you will make your birkat acharona in the first place. So I'm here, I ate the mezonot, I move to my place, my home, I stay 1 hour, I come back here, I know that I will make bracha here. This is the opinions, like this should be done. In consequence, even if we eat or we drink in a different place, this always is the full part of the meal we have started in the first place. The best situation for that to understand it's for him. You see, you go from place to place. So what do you do? How do you do? or yeah, you are here, you start. That's why that's why we do mezonot. You take some wine, you the make the kiddush, and after you start to eat mezonot. But what happened? You have some food, maybe in a bit knesset. Let's say once you have done the mishte, start the mishte. Some people they go, they eat there, they eat there, they eat there, and they will finish to eat in their house with the family. But you move. You have another time also. It's when you go, which when we do that also. Simchat Torah. Simchat Torah. You make the kiddush because we know that everybody have to go on the Torah to go up in the Torah. So we know that's going to be long, but we don't want to make half a day without kiddush, because if you make half a day without kiddush, it's considered like fasting. That's why even on Shabbat, your kiddush should be done before the half of the morning of the day. For example, yesterday, the midnight, the halachic midnight was 12:43. So it means that the middle of the day will be at 12:43 also. So if I was in Shabbat, I have to make my kiddush before 12:43. If I go over, it means that I fast, because I spend half a day not eating. So what happened? The same situation. In Simchat Torah, people make kiddush in the Beit Knesset. Everybody brings some food. You have seen that, right? So you bring your cake, you bring your amazing wine, you bring your amazing whiskey. Everybody is sharing. And what's happened? People are passing from Beit Knesset to Beit Knesset with the Sefer Torah, coming and singing. So what's happened? If you are the people passing, you go, Torah Hashem, you go, oh, L'chaim, L'chaim. The rabbi came, give you something to drink. You drink, L'chaim, L'chaim. You take that. After you take your Torah, you go to another Beit Knesset. What happened there? You drink again, eat again. You go to another Beit Knesset. What's happening? So how do you do? Did you make bracha, 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 bracha? No. When it's about mezonot, we consider that all the mezonot you do on your way, they are one meal.
You don't have to have the kavanah of I'm going to go here, then I'm going to go here. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to fit it, because you understanding and reading this halacha, you already know what should be the kavanah. You say that I cannot say bracha kavanah. Yeah, man, shaloshi. You have to be focused, you have to sit down. So if you have to say to every Beit Knesset to go, at the end after 4 cups of wine, I don't know if you will remember your brachot. Then,
One question, Rob.
yeah.
So on Shabbat,